At 75, everyone expected me to stop, but choosing to keep working? It's a decision I thank my stars for every single day, one I never regretted not making. When I turned 75, the questions started, not just from family, but from friends and even casual acquaintances. "Isn't it time to relax, Elara?" they'd ask, their voices laced with expectation. "Don't you want to enjoy your golden years, travel, and finally put your feet up?" The idea of endless free time, leisurely mornings, and no more deadlines certainly had its siren song. It sounded like a dream many had, a blissful escape from routine. I even caught myself picturing it sometimes, a quiet life of serene contentment. But deep down, beneath the allure of endless relaxation, a quiet dread began to stir. It wasn't about the money. I'd planned well enough. My secret fear was far more profound, losing who I was without my work. My job wasn't just a way to earn a living. It was woven into the fabric of my identity. I started imagining an empty calendar, days stretching out with no appointments, no projects, no specific reason to get up and engage. The thought of losing that daily rhythm, the intellectual stimulation, the sense of being needed, filled me with a quiet anxiety. Would I simply fade into the background, a person with no direction? So I made a choice that surprised many, and perhaps even a part of myself. I walked into my boss's office, my heart thumping a little harder than usual, and told him I wasn't ready to leave. I suggested a part-time arrangement, a way to keep contributing without the full-time grind. There was initial surprise, of course, but then a nod of understanding, and finally, acceptance. Leaving that office, I felt a lightness, a profound sense of relief and empowerment. I wasn't succumbing to expectation. I was choosing my own path forward. That brave, unconventional choice taught me 4 truly unvarnished truths about aging and retirement, insights I wish someone had shared with me sooner. These aren't just about avoiding regret, but about embracing a vibrant, purposeful later life. We're going to talk about purpose, the power of connection, keeping your mind sharp, and maintaining your financial freedom. Stay with me, because these lessons might just change how you view your own golden years. Now, let's talk about the first hard truth I learned, and one that I think many of us overlook when we dream of doing nothing in retirement. Hard truth number 1. Work isn't just about the money. It's about having a reason to get up every single morning. Before I decided to keep working, I thought the paycheck was the main thing. But I realized my job gave my days a structure, a series of small challenges, and, most importantly, a feeling of being genuinely needed. It's a quiet satisfaction, knowing that what I do makes a difference, however small. I saw this truth play out in some of my friends who retired early. They were so excited at first, full of plans for travel and hobbies. But after a few months, I'd visit, and I'd notice a shift. The sparkle in their eyes seemed to dim. Their days, once filled with purpose, started filling up with television, endless scrolling on their tablets, or just waiting. I remember one friend, Arthur, who had been a vibrant engineer. He told me, "Elara, I've done all the projects around the house. I've read all the books. Now what?" It wasn't that he was unhappy, but he seemed to be drifting, without the anchor of a clear objective. It was a stark reminder that an empty calendar isn't always a blessing. Sometimes it's a void. For me, that void never came. Just last week at the library, a new digital catalog system was giving everyone fits. It was complex, and the younger staff were getting frustrated. I spent a good hour poring over the manuals, testing different inputs, drawing on years of experience with previous systems. And then, it clicked. I found a workaround, a simple adjustment that streamlined the whole process. The look on my colleague's face when I showed her was priceless. That feeling, the deep satisfaction of solving a problem, of using my accumulated knowledge to make things better, it's invigorating. It's a mental puzzle every day, and each time I solve one, I feel a surge of accomplishment that no amount of passive leisure could ever provide. Even the small things, the daily rituals of work, contribute to this sense of purpose. Waking up with a clear schedule, choosing my outfit for the day, making my coffee just so, then heading out the door, knowing I'm going somewhere I'm expected and valued. Greeting my colleagues, preparing my workspace, tackling the first tasks of the day. These aren't just chores. They are the quiet, rhythmic beats that give my week its pulse, my life its direction. It's like watering my plants at home. It's a small act, but it keeps life growing, keeps me grounded. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment purpose below to let me know you're here and engaged. Now, I know not everyone can or wants to keep working in a traditional job, and that's perfectly fine. My point isn't that you must stay employed. It's that you must find your why. What gives your life meaning? Because once you give up your structured routine, finding that purpose isn't as simple as just filling your time. It's about fighting to hold on to the things that make you feel alive. So, if retirement is on your horizon, ask yourself, what will be your daily reason to get up? Will it be volunteering, picking up a forgotten passion, or perhaps mentoring someone? Finding that purpose, whatever form it takes, is crucial to a fulfilling later life. Now, let's talk about the second hard truth I learned. That retirement, for all its promises of freedom, can quietly sever the daily social ties that keep us vibrant. Before I decided to stay at my job, I didn't fully appreciate how much of my daily human connection came simply from showing up to work. It wasn't just about formal meetings or big projects. It was the casual conversations, the shared laughter over a coffee break, the quick exchange of stories or advice. Work provides a built-in community, a constant hum of interaction that's easy to take for granted until it's gone. It's an unseen social lifeline, and without it, life can feel surprisingly quiet. I saw it happen to a dear colleague, Arthur. When he retired at 68, his send-off was a grand affair. Cakes, speeches, promises from everyone to keep in touch. He was so excited for all the free time, the endless days for his hobbies. But as the months went by, the calls became fewer. The lunch invitations stopped. I'd bump into him at the grocery store, and his eyes, once so bright with office banter, now held a hint of wistfulness. "Everyone's busy, Elara," he'd say with a shrug, but I knew he meant he felt forgotten. The daily buzz of the office, the effortless camaraderie, had been replaced by a quiet that grew heavier each day. It wasn't that his friends stopped caring. Life just moved on without the shared anchor of work. For me, staying at work meant I kept my daily dose of humanity. Just yesterday morning, Sarah from accounting stopped by my desk, not for work, but to tell me about her granddaughter's first steps. Later, over lunch, Mark and I debated the best way to grow tomatoes, sharing tips and a few laughs. These aren't planned social engagements. They're the fabric of my day. They're the little moments of connection that make me feel seen, heard, and part of something bigger. It's the effortless sharing of life's small joys and frustrations. These aren't formal appointments, but natural, spontaneous connections that enrich my day in ways I never fully appreciated until I saw others lose them. One of the most surprising gifts of staying in the workforce has been the intergenerational bridge it provides. I work alongside people young enough to be my grandchildren, and it's truly wonderful. They introduce me to new technologies, different ways of thinking, and even slang I didn't know existed. In return, I get to share decades of experience, offer a different perspective on a tricky problem, or just listen when they need an ear. It keeps my perspective fresh and vibrant, and I genuinely believe it helps me stay young at heart. We learn from each other, creating a valuable exchange that transcends age. It's a connection I wouldn't trade for anything. Now, I know not everyone can or wants to keep working, but the need for connection doesn't disappear. If you're retired or thinking about it, ask yourself, how will you replace those daily social interactions? It won't happen by itself. You might need to be more deliberate. Consider joining a book club, volunteering for a cause you care about, taking a class, or actively reaching out to old friends. Building your tribe post-work requires conscious effort. While work often provides community organically, maintaining strong connections after retirement requires a proactive approach. Don't let the echoes of connection fade into silence. Now let's talk about the third hard truth I learned. And this one touches on something many of us seniors worry about deeply: our minds. My job, you see, isn't just about the tasks I complete or the people I interact with. It's become my brain's daily workout, keeping it sharp and agile. Think of it like a gym, but for your mind. Just as our bodies need movement to stay strong, our brains need consistent challenge to prevent what I've come to call cognitive atrophy. It's a subtle thing, but the daily demands of work provide that crucial mental exercise, much more than I ever anticipated. I've seen what can happen when that mental gym closes. Over the years, I visited friends who retired early, full of plans for relaxation and quiet days. At first they seemed content, but after a while, I started noticing a subtle shift. Conversations would sometimes falter, with a pause that was a little too long as they searched for a word. Their eyes, once bright with quick wit, occasionally held a slightly vacant stare. It wasn't dementia, not outright, but a kind of fog of inactivity seemed to settle over their minds. They weren't solving problems, learning new systems, or engaging in complex discussions every day. The absence of those daily mental challenges, I observed, slowly dulled their sharpness, like a well-oiled machine left to rust. It was a sobering sight, and it reinforced my conviction that my mind needed its daily grind. For me, my job provides those daily puzzles. Whether it's navigating a new software update that changes how I process information, or meticulously organizing a complex project, or even just recalling a specific detail from a conversation weeks ago to help a client, my brain is constantly on. There are always new challenges, new ways of thinking I have to adapt to. I remember one morning, struggling with a particularly stubborn database issue. My fingers flew across the keyboard, testing different queries, recalling old shortcuts, and thinking through logical steps. The frustration was real, but so was the immense satisfaction when I finally pinpointed the error and fixed it. That feeling of mental accomplishment, of having engaged my brain in a meaningful way, is invigorating. It keeps the cogs turning, the connections firing, and the memory muscles working hard. This constant engagement isn't just about maintaining. It's about continuous growth, about learning to stay young. My job consistently introduces me to new information, new technologies, or fresh perspectives from younger colleagues. I find myself researching things I never thought I'd care about, reading articles to understand evolving industry trends, or even just trying to understand a new app someone mentioned. This continuous influx of novel challenges and information keeps my curiosity alive. It's a vital antidote to feeling stagnant or outdated. This adaptability, this willingness to learn and engage with the new, is what I believe keeps me feeling young at heart and mind. It's a vibrant, active process, not a passive one. Now, I know not everyone can or wants to stay in a traditional job, and that's perfectly fine. But the principle of keeping your mind active remains crucial. If you're retired, or thinking about it, ask yourself, what is your brain's daily workout? Are you learning a new language or an instrument? Are you regularly tackling puzzles, diving into challenging books, or playing strategy games? What about online courses, community workshops, or even starting a new hobby that demands mental focus? The key is active mental engagement. It's about being a student of life, no matter your age, because once those mental muscles start to atrophy, getting them back up to speed can be a much harder climb than you expect. Now let's talk about hard truth number 4, and for many, this is the one that sits deepest in our hearts: the shackles of financial dependence. I've learned that financial independence in later life isn't just about having money in the bank. It's profoundly about maintaining your dignity and your freedom of choice. My continued income provides a crucial layer of security, a buffer against unforeseen costs, and, most importantly, the ability to make my own decisions about how I live, without needing to ask for permission or feeling like a burden. It's about holding on to that fundamental control over your own life. I've seen firsthand how quickly that control can slip away. I remember my dear friend Margaret, who retired at 68, eager for a life of rest. She had a good pension, a modest nest egg. But then, life happened. An unexpected medical diagnosis for her husband, followed by a costly home repair, hit them hard. Her savings, which once seemed ample, dwindled faster than she could have imagined. Suddenly, the choices she thought she had disappeared. She had to sell her beloved car, cancel plans to visit her sister, and eventually her adult children had to step in. not just with emotional support, but with financial aid. It wasn't their fault, or hers, but the loss of autonomy, the need to explain every expense, chipped away at her spirit. It's a quiet, insidious kind of burden. My own experience has been so different, and I am profoundly grateful for it. Just last year, my old water heater decided to give up in a rather dramatic fashion, flooding a corner of my laundry room. It was an unexpected, significant expense. But because I was still working, because I had that steady income, I didn't have to panic. I didn't have to call my children with a sheepish explanation, or spend weeks agonizing over how to pay for it. I simply called a plumber, paid the bill, and carried on. That peace of mind, that quiet confidence that I can handle what life throws at me, is invaluable. This means I can fix things when they break, upgrade something if I want, and mostly, it means I can live my life on my own terms, without ever feeling like a burden to those I love. And it's not just about handling the unexpected. Financial freedom also gives you the power to say yes to life's opportunities. My continued income means I can indulge in my passion for gardening, trying out new, perhaps expensive plants without guilt. It means I can plan a small trip to visit an old friend I haven't seen in years, or contribute to that local charity I care so deeply about. It's not about being rich. It's about having the flexibility, the little bit of extra breathing room, to pursue what brings you joy, to keep learning, and to maintain the lifestyle you've worked so hard to build. It's the difference between a life of quiet sacrifice and one of vibrant, self-directed fulfillment. So if you're considering retirement, or if you're already there, I urge you to think about your financial safety net. It might mean exploring part-time work, perhaps a consulting role using your lifetime of experience, or even a flexible gig job. It could involve learning more about managing your investments, or simply honing your budgeting skills to make every dollar stretch further. The key is proactive planning. Don't assume everything will just work out, because once you lose that financial autonomy, getting it back can be incredibly challenging. Are you prepared to fight for your financial freedom, to ensure you can maintain your dignity and your choices for as long as you possibly can? Looking back now, I can see so clearly why I'm filled with such immense gratitude. That decision at 75, to keep my hands busy and my mind engaged, wasn't just about defying a number on a calendar. It was about preserving my entire self. We've talked about these 4 hard truths, haven't we? The profound sense of purpose that gives each day meaning, the vital connections that keep loneliness at bay, the constant mental acuity that keeps my brain a vibrant, active place, and the precious financial freedom that allows me to live life on my own terms. Each one of these pillars has contributed to a life that continues to unfold with joy and vitality. I truly believe that choosing to stay engaged, to keep contributing, has been the greatest gift I could have given myself in these later years. I often think about the alternative, the life I might have lived if I had succumbed to that retirement siren song, the empty calendar I once feared, the quiet days stretching ahead with nothing but passive waiting. That's a life unlived, a life slowly diminishing. But the life I have now, it's a life unfolding. It's early mornings filled with eager anticipation, not just for work, but for the gardening I love, the book club discussions, the laughter with friends, and those quiet moments of contemplation that truly enrich my soul. Retirement isn't an ending, dear friends. It's a transition, yes, but one where the goal remains the same: to keep growing, to keep experiencing, to keep finding new chapters to write in your own incredible story. Now, I want to be very clear. My message today isn't strictly about paid employment. Not everyone can, or even wants to, keep working in a traditional job, and that's perfectly all right. What I'm truly advocating for is active contribution and purposeful engagement. Your work might be volunteering at a local charity, dedicating yourself to a passion project that lights you up, learning a new language, or even becoming the family historian. The key is to define your work in a way that brings you meaning, that challenges you, that connects you. Don't let anyone tell you that your contributions stop at a certain age. Your wisdom, your experience, your energy, they are invaluable. So, as you reflect on your own journey, whether you're nearing retirement, already enjoying it, or perhaps considering a return to something meaningful, ask yourself, what gives your life meaning? What keeps your mind sharp, your connection strong, and your spirit free? Because the life you have today, your routines, your independence, your choices, it's worth holding on to for as long as you can. Fight for that vitality. Choose engagement over idleness. Choose purpose over drift. It might not always be the easiest path, but I promise you, it is the most rewarding. Thank you for joining me today and for listening to my unvarnished truths. I truly hope these insights have resonated with you. I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing that gives your life purpose, or how you plan to stay engaged in your later years. Your thoughts are so important to us, and reading your comments gives me such motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to connecting with you in the comments and in the next video.